What happens when one of the hottest stocks from 2023 drops 75% from its all-time highs? Is this a disaster? Is it an opportunity? Who knows? But today we are looking at e.l.f. Beauty, trading on the New York Stock Exchange. e.l.f. Is this a beaten down beauty stock? A buy? Maybe, maybe not. Today the price is $55.95. Its 52-week high was $151, and the 52-week low was $49.72. So that's quite a drop. But what is e.l.f. Beauty? So e.l.f. Beauty was founded in Oakland in 2024. No, in 2004. And e.l.f. stands for eyes, lips, and face. Oh, it says here, eyes, lips, and face. That's basically what e.l.f. stands for, right? So 75% of all e.l.f.'s products, they cost under $10. For fiscal year 2026 estimates, the revenue is going to be about 1.6 billion, and right now e.l.f. Beauty is the #1 Gen Z beauty brand on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever. And this is probably the most important one, because this generation there is on TikTok, the Gen Z, they are the ones who are going to buy makeup for the next 20-30 years in the future. So that's quite a lot. So eyes, lips, face, premium quality at the drugstore prices, blah blah blah. Cosmetics, skincare, they got the cosmetic side, eyes, lips, and faces. They got skincare, e.l.f. Skin line. They last year they acquired the Hailey Bieber Rhode brand, which is premium skincare. Then they got clean beauty like Naturium, and then they got a retail in like they are on Walmart, Target, and e-commerce and stuff like that. Right? Yes. So this is their brands. So first of all, the core brands is of course e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the flagship. This is what their entire portfolio is built upon. So this is like e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the core brand. The 70% of the revenue come from e.l.f. Cosmetics, which prices is mostly between $1 and $14 around. And this is the Gen Z like generations brand, because it's cheap, it's pretty high-end products, and everybody uses it. A lot of young girls especially. So then they just acquired last year for $1 billion. They acquired Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's skincare brand. They got better margins than e.l.f. Cosmetics, and yeah, it says here 81% gross margin versus e.l.f.'s 71% gross margins. They got the biggest Sephora launch ever in North America last year. I believe it was last September. It was insane, and this is approximately 13% of the revenue. And Rhode's prices is between 20 to 38. Then we got the clean one. This is Naturium, sorry. This is clean ingredient. So this is not that much. It's a very small percentage of the revenue, but it's growing, and the price is between $10 to $22. Then we got Well People. This is also a clean beauty. It's plant powered. It's very focused on not using a lot of e-products or a lot of products that's bad for you. So this, it's still a small percent of the revenue, $10 to $28. Okay. And then Keys Soul Care, I'm not really sure what this is, but it's the wellness beauty. It's between $12 and $38. It's a very niche product, but I've never heard of it. But it's founded with Alicia Keys. I know who that is. Good. If we have a look at the stock price, the all-time high was $221. It was in March 2024. Today's price is about $57. It's a drop from the all-time high of approximately 75%, and the market cap at the moment is 3.41 billion. Quite a difference. It's very sad if you bought a lot of e.l.f. beauty stocks on the top of 221, but I believe it's going to come back probably. If we will have a look at the financial numbers here, this is the important one. So this is the annual revenue for e.l.f. 318 million 5 years ago. They're expecting the fiscal year 2026 to be 1.6 billion. Insane increase. That's like, I'm not good at math, but about 500% increase, I believe. isn't? Maybe not. I'm not sure. So the revenue, fiscal year 2025, 1.3, expecting 1.6, revenue growth of about 22 to 23%. The adjusted EBITDA is right now at about 300 million. It will be about the same. They are expecting a little less in net income, but it is what it is. A little less in earnings per share. So yeah, it is what it is. But the important thing is that they are going to increase revenue, because it's only now that the Road brand is going to be integrated well into the ecosystem of ELF. And last year they also had a bit of trouble with the president in America taxing tariffs, so that's not good. So when the tariffs hopefully disappear at some point, then you will see ELF Beauty make a lot of money, because last year they raised the prices of about $1 or something, but $1 for every product that's being sold is a lot of money. So let's talk about this Road acquisition. It's costed $1 billion, but it is what it is. Hailey Road Bieber, I didn't know she was called Road, or her name was Road, but it is what it is. Yeah, she is founded by Hailey Bieber, right? The price point is about $20 to $38 per product, depending on what you're going to get. But it's not luxury, but it's pretty expensive. It costed them $1 billion, of course, but they have better margins. They have about 81% of gross margin, where ELF Beauty or ELF Cosmetic is about 71%. So it's less revenue, but better gross margins, which is quite good. So the operating margin is 33.5 versus ELF's 18.5, which is also quite the difference. The fiscal year 2026 sales, they are expecting 265 million just in Road revenue. That will be about approximately 20% of the ELF Beauty's entire revenue. As we saw just 2 slides ago, at the moment it's about 13%. So that's an incredible increase. So in September they had the biggest ever Sephora launch in North America in history. It was 2.5 times bigger than number 2. I'm not sure who number 2 is, but it was better, bigger, better, everything. It was insane. So you can say the risk of this deal is that ELF took a lot of debt to make this acquisition. In Q3 last year, the ELF brand, or the ELF Cosmetics, only grew 2% in revenue, which is not good. So Road being 13% of the revenue, still small, it is what it is, but as we see here, it will not take maybe a year and a half, then they are up about 20-25% of the revenue, which is good. And the brand depends on Hailey Bieber's image. It's because it's built by Hailey Bieber, then of course it's depending on Hailey Bieber's image. But a lot of young people really like Hailey Bieber, and they like Road, and they think it's a great product. So maybe they in the future will not be as dependent on Hailey Bieber. Let's have a look at the latest news. I'm not sure why this is an upcoming event, because they already did this. It was about a week ago. ELF released their full year results, which was great. I believe the stock jumped about 4% that day or something like that. So it is what it is. But Morgan Stanley downgrades to equal weight. Morgan Stanley cuts ELF, citing concerns over loss of market share in the core US. And blah blah blah. Price target lowered to $67. Even at $67, it's still an increase of $10 a share. Other banks, Citi, JP Morgan, they maintain a buy ratio, which is great. I said this Q4 fiscal year 2026 earnings release. In that we got this picture. Sephora and Road. Remember that they launched Sephora in North America in September. Biggest launch of Sephora ever. In September this year, they are going to launch Road and Sephora in the Great Britain, in Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech, Denmark, France, Germany, Greek, Italy, I believe that's Poland. I don't know why Poland is on. I'm not sure. Indonesia, maybe? I'm not, maybe. Portugal, Moldova, whatever, I'm not sure. But a lot of countries, 19 countries to be exact. This is going to be absolutely huge for Rode. It's going to be insane. Then we got the other news here in August, or let's say in January 2026. Citi says that Elf Beauty was a buy. Blah 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 blah. They see a 14% price increase since August 2025, plus Rode's highest margins, supporting profitability in fiscal year 2027. They also believe that when the China tariffs gets cut out, then Elf Beauty have a lot of potential. So they put a buy on and a target on $110. Then, in September last year, record launch, Rode hit Sephora, biggest launch in Sephora's history. Rode Nation Sephora launch was 2.5 times bigger than the second largest brand launch Sephora North America has ever seen. They are now expanding to Europe in 2026. Very nice. So, Rode contributed $128 million to Q3 sales and is expected to hit $265 for full year. Nice, we like that. And Elf raised prices $1 across portfolio, tariff response. So we already talked about that. Nice. These are the risks. This is the uncomfortable part. Let's say that. So what are the risks for elves? And the biggest risk is, of course, very obvious. 75% of their products are being made in China, which means they have massive tariff exposure, which is at the moment is not great, but when tariffs hopefully get cut at some point, then they got $50 million or more less in annual costs. It's costing them a lot of money at the moment, which means that it doesn't mean that, but the earnings per share is under pressure. It is fallen despite the revenue growth. They got rising competition, brands like Shein, Temu pushing ultra cheap beauty, private labels in the mass retail. See a lot of stores do that because it's probably a higher margin for theirs to sell their own private label than to sell, let's say, Rode. So yeah, it is what it is. The core brand is slowing. Elf Core, or the Elf Cosmetics, only grew 2% in Q3. It is what it is. And Rode, they got that. So it is what it is. But the bull versus bear case, plus approximately a price estimate here. So the bull case, they're down 75% from the all-time high, which is, when I look at it, it's great. Because you know that they were once at $200. Why not? Why shouldn't they come back? The revenue has grown since. Why should they not come back? So the revenue is still growing 23% per year. Rode, better margins. It's a strong buy. Average target is about $105. Tariff cycle improves fiscal year 2027. Massive Gen Z brand loyalty. And this is the most important thing about Elf and Rode. So Elf and Rode, they are very, what can I say, social media dependent. So they're dependent on Hailey Bieber, they're dependent on TikTok, whatever. The bear case says that the brand, of course, only grew 2%. The Rode acquisition, we already talked about this. Earnings per share falling year over year. It is what it is. 75% production in China. Morgan Stanley believes that they are losing cosmetic market share. It is what it is. And the PE is right now at about 31 times earnings. I'm not sure this is updated. Let me just have a look. This was before the earnings they came up with a week ago, because right now the PE ratio is actually at 130, so it's really expensive. Okay, but where could this Elf be? From 1 year, I believe it's going to be between $70 to $90. 2 years, 90 to 120. 3 years, anywhere between 110 to 150. And 5 years time, maybe 150 to 1 plus. It's not unrealistic, especially not when you look at this. The annual price targets, we got Citi at 110, JP Morgan 85, Bear 90, TD Cowen 90, both at 93, Canaccord 121, UBS 70, Evercore IC 68, Morgan Stanley 67, Deutsche Bank 68. So there's still a lot of upside in Elf Beauty stock. That's why I believe I'm going to buy a lot of shares here in probably a week or two. Let me see, but it's an interesting stock. Okay, and this is not financial advice at all. You should do your own research, of course. Look into the company, see what they do, look at the numbers, maybe look at the latest earnings release, and then yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.